do believe this matter has been settled. I am ready to call my next witness. Oh, is that all I can get out of her? You've served your purpose, Sheikah. Be gone! Fine. But you had best treat Her Highness with respect, or I'll see to it that you spend the night in the dungeons. Do not presume to threaten me, Sheikah. A night of darkness and solitude would be nothing but comfort for me. Is that so? Then perhaps we should fill the dungeons with lit candles for the occasion. They're glaring daggers at each other. If this doesn't end soon, we're all in trouble. Order! Order! I'm sure they treat the princess with utmost respect. You may step down, detective. This case has already made me weary with all the pointless jabber. The time is ripe to deal the final blow. I call Her Highness Princess Zelda of Hyrule to the stand. Wieso wurde die so verändert? Is something the matter? Why is everyone quiet all of a sudden? Your Highness. I believe we are all just a bit uncertain on how to proceed. It is quite an honor to have such an esteemed guest in these halls. Bah! In the face of the law, the princess is no different from a peasant. Peasant? Name and occupation, now! The prosecution will behave. I will not have any derogatory statements directed at the princess. Derogatory? I simply wish not to waste any more time. We must employ proper procedure. Oh man. It is alright, detective. I believe the prosecution does have a point. In the eyes of the law, we are all equals. On this stand, I am just another witness. I should not be getting any special treatment. Very admirable, Your Highness. We can all rest easy knowing that Hyrule is destined to have such a wise monarch in its future. Yes, indeed. I eagerly await the day when your next ruler takes the throne and reshapes the kingdom in their image. You flatter me, prosecutor. Now then, I believe I was asked for my name and occupation. I'm Zelda, current princess of Hyrule and heir apparent to the throne. Marvelous, Your Highness. Before we begin, I would just like to know, why were you at London Ranch to witness this terrible incident? It is simple, really. London Ranch is Hyrule Castle's town biggest food supplier. Not only that, but the ranch also equips Hyrule's royal guard with the finest of horses. Every year the royal family makes a visit as a gesture of goodwill and to ensure the quality of the steeds. Oh, I didn't know your horses were used by the royal guard. Yep. We work hard every year to make sure they are in the best possible condition. Father loved to boast about it to the other ranch owners. Knowing talent, I'm sure he did. Unfortunate that the ranch may no longer meet the ground's high standards under new management. The royal family has a backup, I trust. We are looking for one. Naturally, those standards are quite high. Yes, of course. Now then, please describe what you saw on the day of the incident. Very well. Here I go. The scene behind the door. I arrived at London Ranch a little after 8 AM, accompanied by my royal guards. I remember being surprised at how quiet everything was. There was nobody there to welcome us. I could sense that something was wrong. I opened the door to the ranch house and went inside. The room was mostly empty. There was a table with some kind of crystal bottle on top of it. But in front of the table, a terrifying scene was unveiling. The The defendant hacked at the ranch owner's chest. With a saw she was holding. Was? Was? I was overcome with fear and I screamed. I will never forget what I saw that day. I heard that Talon and his daughter were incredibly kind. I cannot believe she would commit such horrible violence. Was? Du hast gesehen, wie sie auf ihn eingehackt hat? Gehackt mit der Säge. What? Yeah. Oh my, you saw the very moment the victim was killed? There you go. Decisive testimony. As there is no need to doubt the princess's statement, I call for the judge to make a ruling right away. Hey, now hold on. I didn't get to cross-examine the witness yet. You haven't, fool, because there's no need. Did you not hear one word of what I said? Can you just say we should follow all the procedures and treat the princess like any other witness? This is the defense, right? You complete? I believe the defense has a point. They do have every right to perform a cross-examination, no matter who is testifying. I was quite looking forward to this part myself. I have only ever read about court proceedings in the royal library. That being said, I will not tolerate any reckless accusations towards the princess. Is that clear? Naturally, Your Honor. How am I going to cross-examine the princess? This isn't going to end well. What's gotten into the prosecutor? That seemed like a rather intense outburst. Well, I do have a guess. Oh? Because of the princess's statues, it's possible that Dragmire didn't have an opportunity to discuss her testimony with her. That might mean that this testimony is a surprise even to him. This could be my chance. Before we begin, there is just one thing that caught my attention. I believe the princess mentioned seeing some kind of glass bottle at the crime scene. That would be this, I presume. Das sind doch die Froschaugentropfen, oder nicht? Why, yes, that is exactly it. What is that? Oh, this is the bottle of perfume that father intended to gift to Her Highness when she arrived. He quickly rode out to town to get it at the last moment. He didn't know that the princess was coming instead of the king until only about 2 hours before the visitation. Oh, how thoughtful. He really did not need to bother himself so. 2 Stunden davor und dann ist er weggerannt und hat ein Parfüm besorgt? Okay. As fascinating as all of this is, the prosecution doesn't believe it's relevant to the case. It's good to have a full picture of the crime scene. The defense requests the bottle to be accepted into evidence. Desperate to latch onto every little thing, are you? Whatever. You can add it to the evidence if it'll make you happy. No skin off my teeth. In that case, the court accepts this bottle into evidence. Okay. Now then, defense, begin your cross-examination. Okay. The scene behind the door. I arrived at London Ranch a little after 8 AM, accompanied by my lion guards. Okay, wann ist Taran gestorben? Steht das irgendwo? Hatten wir das nicht? Victim died from loss of blood no later than 8 AM. Okay. Aber er ist nicht später gestorben als 8 AM, oder? Moment, mal lesen. Ja, nicht später als 8 Uhr und sie sagt aber, kam nach 8 Uhr und hat die Szene noch gesehen, aber eigentlich hätte er das doch schon tot sein müssen. these guards were with Her Highness, why were they not called as witnesses? We did question the guards, naturally. Apparently they didn't get to see anything relevant. I was the only one to enter the crime scene. After seeing what was inside, I stood guard and insisted that no one be allowed inside until the Sheikah force arrived. Wieso? I have read that preserving the scene is vital. Quite correct. I'm sure the guards were absolutely thrilled with this order. Please proceed, witness. Have you conducted these royal visitations in the past, Your Highness? No, this was my first one. Up until last year, my father was always the one to visit London Range. However, he decided I had to start preparing for all the royal duties that await me, and so I was to do it this time. You will doubtlessly perform admirably as ruler when the time comes. What happened when you got to the ranch house? And what then? Stop interrupting and let her get to the point. Defense! I believe it was clear about not badgering the witness. That I need to calm down. Okay. Hat es negative Konsequenzen, wenn ich alles objecte? Hallo Magical Fails, herzlich willkommen im Stream. Wie geht es dir? Wir spielen heute Hero of Law. You paid attention to something like that after seeing a murder princess? Well, I spent a rather long time in there waiting for the Sheikah force to arrive. Ja, ich weiß ja nicht. Ich war ganz alleine da drin. Die ganze Zeit. Plus, that bottle is quite beautiful. It just stood out. Oh. In front of the table, a terrifying scene was made. You were there at the exact time of the murder, Your Highness? That is correct. That's impossible, you're lying! The defendant will curb her outburst. You're addressing royalty. This is really bad. What now? Ask about the crime scene. Ask about what was outside. Accuse Zelda of the crime! Find out the crime scene. Where were the victim and the defendant at this time? The ranch owner was in front of a little table that is directly across from the entrance door. The defendant was right in front of him and quickly fainted after her attack. A large pool of blood started forming where the victim was. I had a rather good view of the whole scene. Right. It is as unfortunate as it is fortunate that you could see the whole thing in such detail. Now please continue. Should I ask something else? Are you sure there wasn't anyone else in the ranch, Your Highness? No, the place looked empty. Although I did later see a worker pull up a loaded wagon where a courier came asking about milk shipments. It caused a little bit of a scene when the Sheikah force started inspecting it. That worker must have been somewhere else on the ranch, I suppose. The ranch is pretty large. Said worker was inside a building on the other side. It's quite understandable she wouldn't have seen him until later. But this really doesn't give me a whole lot to work with. Should I ask something else? Okay. Wir accusen nicht Zelda Team Crime erstmal. Er was overcome with fear und du bist drin geblieben. Macht doch auch keinen Sinn. Are you sure you got a good look then, Your Highness? You didn't look away in panic? The princess was very brave to take control of the situation the way she did. There's no need to doubt what she saw. Ah, yes, I suppose what she did was admirable. If only we had arrived earlier. Your Highness, don't blame yourself for this. If you would arrive earlier, you could have been the one that got attacked. Vielleicht solltest du das nicht sagen, Marlon. Ha! So you would have lashed out at anyone trying to stop you, huh? Despicable! That's not what she meant and you know it. Princess, please go on. Very well. The Talon and his daughter were incredibly kind. Rest your heart, your highness. You know Melon didn't do this. But nonsense. Her heart, what do her organs have to do with anything? Oh, of course, evidence and testimony be damned, just because we feel the defendant must be innocent. Oh, well, if you're sure, then I declare today's verdict. Have you gone senile, old man? It was a joke, much like the arguments the defense has been presenting. I can't believe the princess would lie like this. Yeah, it really is shocking. You don't believe her, right? Even if she's the princess, that means nothing. To trust authority or your best friend. I need something very concrete to disprove what the princess is saying. Okay. Also sie ist auf jeden Fall nicht zu der Zeit erschienen, die sie sagt. Your Honor, Your Highness, I believe I found something that doesn't quite match up with the facts. How dare you question the princess? You will let the defense speak, prosecutor. I think I see why he so desperately wanted to prevent this cross-examination now. Your Highness, you stated that you arrived at the ranch shortly after 8 AM, correct? Yes, the visit was scheduled for 8:30 exactly, but we were quite a bit early. I see. That makes something you mentioned quite impossible. As stated by the autopsy report, the victim definitely died before 8 AM. You couldn't have seen the defendant attack the ranch owner, because the victim was already dead by then. Order! Order! Yes, you've really caught her in a lie. Your Highness, what is the meaning of this? While I wholeheartedly respect and serve the crown, I will nonetheless not tolerate lies in my court. I have not lied, I suppose I did not see the exact moment it happened. I guess I only thought I did. Princess, this is a matter of life and death. I definitely saw the defendant there, though along with the body. There is no one else who could have done it. I remember all of the other details correctly. Das will ich jetzt auch sagen. The body is on the floor. The pool of blood. You have to believe me. Perhaps it'll be best if Her Highness revises her testimony. That's not good. There's still not enough doubt to overturn this testimony. I'll have to find something else or this case will be over. Oh, Zelda is so untrustworthy. True. Woman, what? What I actually saw. I'm sorry for embellishing the truth a little bit. I did not see the actual moment of the attack. But it had to have happened shortly before I went into the ranch house. Miss Mellon and her father were the only ones at the scene of crime, so she must be the culprit. I see. You only saw the aftermath of the scene, not the actual crime being committed. Very well. Hopefully there are no issues in your testimony this time. Defense, it's time for your cross-examination. Naturally, Your Honor. Quagmire still looks pretty angry. I bet he didn't expect such a blatant contradiction to pop up. If I could just find another one like that, the princess' testimony would become completely untrustworthy in the eyes of the judge. Okay, wir brechen Zelda. What I actually saw. Okay, das sind jetzt nur noch die 4. It had to happen shortly before I went to the church. Mel and her father were the only ones at the scene of crime. Okay, ich weiß gerade nicht. Ich muss es mir genau angucken. Why did you do that, Your Highness? There's a life on the line in here. I I really am sorry. I suppose I got a bit too excited about being a witness in an actual murder trial. Really now? Most people hate testifying. Yes, well, the life of a princess is rather boring, you know. This is quite a break from the routine for me. Should just get a hobby then. In that case, it can't be conclusively proven that the defendant did it. Defense, did you exhaust your singular brain cell on that last contradiction you found? There's a death mountain's worth of evidence pointing to the defendant. Just because no one saw the actual moment of the crime doesn't mean anyone else could have done it. I think you're making a death mountain out of a death molehill. But it had to have happened shortly before I went in the ranch house. Woher willst du das wissen? How can you be sure of that, princess? Well, when I entered the ranch house, the victim still had the murder weapon embedded into his body. Was? Das stimmt doch wieder nicht. What? It is obvious what that means, is it not? The killer did not even have enough time to try to hide the weapon. Yes, I might have not seen the murder firsthand, but I must have been very close to doing so. Also sie sagt, dass die Waffe noch drin gesteckt hat. Oh my. This seems like a very important detail. I think it would be advisable for Her Highness to amend her testimony. Certainly, Your Honor. Interesting. Jackmire certainly doesn't look very happy about this development. Thinking about it, I might just know why. The murder weapon was still stuck into the victim's body afterward. Das kann nicht sein. Das kann nicht sein, Zelda. Mara. Hallo Snowy. Herzlich willkommen im Stream. Wie geht's dir? Was ist das für ein Game? Ein sehr lustiges. Das ist Hero of Law. Und wir sind Link, der Rechtsanwalt. Und wir verteidigen Marlon, die anscheinend ihren Vater umgebracht haben soll. Aber hier passen viele Dinge nicht zusammen. Wieder gelogen, ja echt so. Hallo, oh mein Gott. That doesn't necessarily mean that my client was the one to do it. Ja, ich habe den falschen Knopf gedrückt. What if someone else snuck in before Marlon and the princess arrived? Well, I suppose. London Ranch is surrounded by high walls, and the only way in is through a self-locking gate. Not very many people have a key to that gate, just the personnel and the crowd. Well, someone could have forced their way in. If you wish to propose such a possibility, you must substantiate it with evidence. Oh yeah. Do you have any proof that another person showed up at the ranch house before the princess? Nein, hab ich nicht. I don't. I don't have anything of the sort. There must be another angle I can attack this from. Yeah, very well, witness. Since the defense has wisely chosen to stay silent, please continue your testimony. Miss Marlon and her father were the only ones at the scene of the crime, so she must be the culprit. So, also, die Waffe war sauber und wurde in ihrer Hand gefunden. Also, wenn du die nicht rausgezogen und abgewischt hast, Zelda, dann laberst du hier wieder Scheiße. I believe I found another reason to doubt the witness's words. It seems the prosecution sees what I'm getting at here. There was a bloody cloth discovered at the scene of the crime. The prosecution has argued before that it was used to wipe the saw clean. If the princess saw the saw lodged into Talon's body and the crime scene was left intact, then it couldn't have been wiped. Prosecutor Dragmire, care to explain? This is most perplexing. Your Highness, are you sure that's what you saw? Well, maybe the princess decided to pull the saw out in a valiant yet futile attempt to save the victim. And then wipe the blade clean. That would be almost like framing the defendant. Of course, I did no such thing. I made sure the crime scene stayed intact. I guess I must have made up the memory about the saw sticking out of Mr. Zelda's Alter. Die macht mich fertig. You idiotic girl! Do you even realize what you've done through your bumbling? I'm sorry. I was just so excited to stand as a witness in court, just this once. Whenever I try telling my father about anything, he always seems so disinterested. Just this once I wanted to feel listened to. The defendant, it is clear that she did it. I just wanted to play a larger part in her capture. I'm sorry for the trouble I have caused you all. Your Highness, the court is no place for silly games. As it stands, I'm afraid you will have to strike your statements from the court record completely. Yes, I did it. The prosecution lost their key witness. No, please wait. I have more to say. I was wrong about the crime scene, but I still have not testified about what I saw afterwards. Bah, why would we care about that? It's best that you leave and stop damaging my case with your idiocy. Even if you are not interested in my words, you might be interested in the evidence I found. Alter, die hat auch noch was mitgenommen. Vivian, stop it better. What? Ha! Evidence? Of course. While the Sheikah force investigated inside the ranch house, I looked around the rest of the ranch on my own. Sheikah, did you know about this? Of course I did. You did? I'll have you your head for this. Order. What is the meaning of this, detective? It's quite simple. The princess specifically requested to present her finding on her own. What? And you agreed to this? This court is not some playground where children decide when evidence should be presented just because they have a crowd. He's being rude about it, but I can't help but agree with Dragmire on this one. Also, I don't really buy this story. There's no way Impa would have allowed this. Believe me, I wasn't thrilled with the request either. However, after seeing the evidence in question, I didn't think it would be at all important to the case. Thus, I let the princess have her fun. This is highly irregular. I'm not sure how to feel about this. Prosecutor. Well, naturally I object to this nonsense. If the detective thinks it's irrelevant, then this is probably just a waste of time. Her mit dem Beweis. All the evidence points to the defendant. It's still clear she did it, even without a witness at the scene. I see. Defense. What do we do? If we object to presenting the evidence, then Dragmire loses his key witness. Thus, whatever the princess presents could be bad for our case too. So we should agree with the prosecution? Well, on the other hand, we don't really have much to go on. This could be our only lead left. Well, don't keep us waiting. Surely you won't throw away all the progress you've made thus far. What do I do? Ich würde ihn gerne haben. I really hope this is the right choice. The defense requests that the evidence be presented. What? And I agree that the situation is irregular. We should still examine all evidence available. It would be silly to dismiss it as irrelevant without even seeing what it is. I do believe you have a point, Defense. However, I must warn you, in order to admit this piece of evidence into the court record, the princess's statement that she found it must be admitted as testimony, along with everything else she might say. Yes, Your Honor, I am well aware. The defense wishes to give the princess just one more chance. Of all the idiotic order. Very well then. Your Highness, please testify once more about the new piece of evidence you found during your own investigation. Thank you. I will not let you down this time, I promise. The princess should understand the gravity of the situation at hand now. I just hope this new evidence isn't damaging to our case. My findings. I wish to express my most heartfelt apologies for my mistakes in the earlier testimony. Upon entering the ranch house, I saw the defendant passed out in front of the victim, who was bleeding out. I stood guard at the entrance of the ranch house until the Sheikah force arrived. Wenn ihr ausgeblutetes hätte, sie das nicht noch verhindern können? Wenigstens versuchen? Once the Sheikah started investigating the crime scene, I decided to take a look around the ranch. While I was walking near the silo, I noticed a strong odor in the air. I had to stop to see where it was coming from. I followed the scent and found a burned out fire nearby and a small, nearly empty bottle of lamp oil. I, of course, took the bottle straight to the head detective. And here it is, the oil bottle I found. Feuerstelle und Öl. Is something wrong? Oh no, this might actually be completely irrelevant. Yes, well. Of course there is, foolish girl. That has nothing to do with anything. Your great finding is some random fire on a ranch, please. Naja, aber auf der anderen Seite, wer macht irgendwo auf der Ranch ein Feuer? What next? Are you going to declare every rake on the premises suspicious? Well, the prosecution will calm down. This is bad. Your Honor. Despite the fact that this evidence might not seem to add anything at the moment, the defense still asserts its right to a cross-examination. Some straws have been grasped. Why must you insist on this charade, defense? The princess has merely recounted the same view of the crime scene as the head detective. You haven't been able to find any contradictions in her statement. I believe there might be a way to tie the princess' new evidence into the case. Ridiculous! Regardless of what the prosecution thinks, the defense does have a right to a cross-examination. The court admits the oil bottle into the evidence. I just really hope this isn't a complete waste of time, defense. For both your own sake and your clients. Nochmal, Zelda. Langsam kann ich das Gesicht nicht mehr sehen. My findings. On entering the ranch house, I saw the defendant passed out in front of the victim. I stood guard at the entrance of the ranch house until the Sheikah was arrived. Once the Sheikah started investigating the crime scene, I decided to take a look around the ranch. While I was walking near the silo, I noticed a strong odor. Was für ein Geruch? Nächste Zeuge gibt's nicht mehr so, ich weiß auch nicht. What was the smell like? Oh, it was awful. Really terrible stench. Surely you don't mean to say that you found the smell of horseman you're suspicious. Do not be ridiculous. The smell was not coming from the horses. I've heard this in and found a burned out fire nearby and a small nearly empty bottle of flame. Okay, also der hat was sehr übel gerochen, es war aber nicht Pferdekacke. Fire. Now let me remind you, defense, that there is any number of reasons why a fire could have been there. Okay, Zelda. You can still feel the cold grass or death early in the morning. Princess, how long would you estimate the fire had been out before you found it? Ah, right. There was still smoke rising out of the ashes, so it must have been put out recently. So around the time of the crime. So someone prepared their breakfast there. I repeat, this fire is irrelevant. I think he's realized the same thing as I did. Well, who was it? Who could have lit that fire anyway? It would have to have been a ranch worker who was putting the milk shipments together at the time. It was almost certainly him. If you really want to ask about his little barbecue, you might just get your wish soon. Doesn't sound like it was very appetizing. But without anything concrete to pin on him, he'll just be able to brush it off. Of course, took the bottle straight to the head detective. Und wieso hast du es dann behalten? The viewers, stream boo live. Right, and she allowed you to present it? Well, I was the one to find it, and since I was going to the trial anyway. Utter ridiculousness. Yes, please make this the last time you do something like this, Your Highness. Proper procedures exist for a reason. Yes, I understand. Do you have any idea why there would be a fire at the ranch that day? No, this is pretty odd. And it sounds like it's definitely worth looking into, although it'll be hard to link it to the crime in any way. In situations like this, getting as much info as possible is my best bet. Okay. There's no need to press the princess on her apology. You already wasted the chance to throw out her testimony. Yes, defense. Please get to the point. Thanks. Upon entering the ranch house, I saw the defendant passed out in front of the victim. He was bleeding out. Was there anything else in the room? A little beautiful little crystal bottle I mentioned before. The house was rather barren. Most of our things are on the top floor, since the downstairs room is mostly used for ranch business these days. And the occasional game. Ah, of course. That's famous Kuko game. The good old days. Is the defense done reminiscing? There will be plenty of time to do that when the defendant's behind bars. I was just trying to distract myself from the fact that there's nothing to latch onto here. I stood guard at the entrance of the ranch house and she stopped. Did anything happen during that time? No, not that I recall. The guards did occasionally protest and asked me to let them take over, but I held my stance. While commendable in theory, staying in the same room as a dangerous killer isn't very wise. But if she woke up and lashed out at you... Sweet, highly up above. That thought did not occur to me. Bah, of course not. Foolish girl. But the guards did stand close by. I would have been safe. Wonderful to see how much faith your princess has in our royal guard. Yes, of course I do. In any case. Once the Sheikah started investigating the crime scene, I decided to take a look around the ranch. We didn't just go home. The royal visitation was supposed to last a lot longer. Father was not expecting us back at the castle until much later. I came to the ranch to examine the horses, so I supposed I could at least do that in the meantime. How long did it take the Sheikah to arrive at the scene? It does not take very long to make the trip from Hyrule Castle Town to London Range. I cannot imagine it was more than 20 minutes. That is pretty fast, although I imagine the fact that the princess was involved helped speed it up. Slowpokes, I would be there in half the time, running backwards. Ich wollte gerade sagen. Alter, das ist so lustig. Das ist halt wirklich so witzig. I suppose it's no surprise though. Alien horses are naturally inferior to our fine Gerudo steeds. The Gerudo buy horses from our ranch too. Just don't bother. He's trying to rile you up. Defense, I believe that is enough. It doesn't seem like you're getting any closer to finding a connection between this fire and the crime at all. No, I suppose not, Your Honor. Naturally, I've said this was a waste of time from the beginning. In that case, this cross-examination is over. Thank you for your time, Your Highness. I assume you have no more revelations to share with us. No, I do not. I really thought the fire would be important. Vielleicht wird es das noch. Leave my side. Enough! Oh mein Gott, Lance! Herzlich willkommen im Stream. Schön, dass ihr zuschaut. Vielen, vielen Dank für deinen Raid. Hallo. Hallo, makes you cry. Herzlich willkommen im Stream. Und hallo, Schokiwi. Wie geht's? Ich habe gesehen, es wurde Baldur's Gate gespielt. Ich vermute immer noch mit Roga. Wie weit seid ihr gekommen? Ja, wir spielen heute Hero of Law. Ist vielleicht auch was für dich, Let's. Es ist unfassbar lustig hier. Es ist unfassbar lustig. Ja. Also, ich kläre euch schnell mal auf. Wir befinden uns im Gerichtssaal. Wir sind Rechtsanwalt Link und wir müssen Marlon verteidigen, die angeklagt wird, ihren Vater getötet zu haben auf der London Range. Und Zelda ist gerade im Zeugenstand und Zelda macht nur Scheiße. Und sie macht die ganze Zeit Falschaussagen und so. Das ist ein bisschen schwierig. Ja, so viel dazu. Da sind wir gerade. Aber ich glaube, jetzt kommt dann jemand anderes, weil bei dem Kreuzverhör jetzt nicht wirklich was rauskam mit ihr. Ja, Roga ist toll. Ich habe gerade schon reingeschaut bei dir und habe gesagt, die Zelda-Hölle wird groß. Wir sind immer noch im Tempel der Schar. Das Ding ist sehr groß. Ja, ich weiß das. Bei welcher Prüfung warst du denn? Warst du schon bei einer Prüfung? Vermute ich schon. Enough. Your Highness, if you'd allow me to escort you back to Hyrule Castle. Very well. Now that the princess's little game is over, we should move this along. The prosecution's stance is still the same, of course. We maintain that the evidence on its own is enough to convict the defendant. I do believe I am nearly ready to hand down my verdict. But, Your Honor, there's nothing that definitely shows that Melon committed the crime. This is all circumstantial. There's no way she could kill her own father. Und ich entschuldige mich für mein schlechtes Englisch. That is an excellent point, the defense. The prosecution has yet to elaborate on the defendant's motive. Patricide is not something a person commits lightly. I did briefly touch on the subject during my opening statement, but naturally, the prosecution is fully prepared to elaborate on the matter. I would like to call my third witness. That has to be that ranch worker. Before calling him in, though, the prosecution requests a brief recess to prepare. I thought you said you were already prepared. Maybe he wants to double check that his new witness won't pull anything weird like the princess did. Very well. I do believe a break would benefit us all. The court will reconvene after a 15-minute recess. Okay, wenn wir schnell sind und rückwärts laufen, schaffen wir es vielleicht so lange. Ich habe alle 3 Prüfungen fertig und habe die 3 Edelsteine für den Fahrstuhl. Bin aber noch nicht runter. Ich bin sehr gespannt. Den Nachtschwer kriege ich auch gerade nicht. Ich stehe zwar vor der Statue, aber komme nicht an ihr vorbei. Den Nachtschwer kriegst du nicht? Ich kann dazu weniger sagen, ohne zu spoilern. Jetzt soll ich irgendwas dazu sagen? Oder soll ich das einfach mal so stehen lassen? The court will reconvene after 15 minute recess. Court is adjourned.